She'eino medaber ve'eino shomea. They can't speak and can't listen. Ve'eino tzarich leparnasah. Doesn't need God to support him. Mikayem diburo shel makom. Nevertheless, he fulfills the word of God. Kal v'chomer anu. How much more so should we? Very strange. So somehow, this kal v'chomer, that would have been... Now, let's say I were to say, I'm going to show you my powers. Okay? I'm going to speak to this cup, and water is just going to overflow. Right? Right? And then I said, instead, I hit the rock. I hit the cup. And instead, the water just kept flowing. Right? Would that be less of a miracle or more of a miracle? Right? Whether I speak to this and all of a sudden we have this deluge, or I hit it and there's a deluge. Right? It's not much of a difference. Right? Why is such a difference being made over here between the speaking and the hitting? And why is it that hitting the rock made sense, was the right thing to do as they entered the midbar? But now when we're getting close to entering Israel, hitting the rock is no longer the right thing to do.
Speaking is asking, striking is demanding.
Okay, so there are different ways. This is a piece from Rabbi David Foreman. Very nice explanation. There are different ways that God works with nature, and that then reflects our position, our standing. God can break nature, right? You hit the rock, water flows out, and that's what's been going on. It's been this supernatural existence for all these years. And even Har Sinai, we say, Kaf aleim har kegigit. Literally means God put the mountain over our heads and said, accept it. Right? Im mekabel mutav, im lav sham tekvuratchem. If you accept it, fine. If not, you're dead. There will be your burial place. Right? Did God literally lift the mountain over their head? The Medrash, there are those who will take it literally, but certainly there are those that explain that our existence was so overwhelming that it was as if the mountain was over our heads. Right? We had no choice. Right? The man is falling. That's our daily bread. We go to sleep at night, we got nothing. Nothing in the cupboard. Right? But tomorrow will fall again. Right? It was this overwhelming existence that we were like cowering under it. Almost being crushed. The rock is being hit. We're about to enter the land of Israel. Israel is going to be a whole different existence. We're going to plow, plant, harvest. We're going to be working within nature, and our avoda, our service is within the natural to appreciate the supernatural. To appreciate that nature is simply a miracle that we've grown accustomed to. But it's no less miraculous if the manna falls from the heaven or if it grows out from the ground. It's no less miraculous if food falls from heaven or if food grows from the ground. From the earth, that's how this food is growing. You have a 300-pound watermelon that grew from a seed in the ground. Man is more miraculous than that, but we get used to it. Going into the land of Israel We're going into a whole new stage now. We're no longer breaking nature. We are in sync with nature. And we see the glory and the miracles that emanate from all of this nature. And the whole world is in sync with that. Every tree is singing God's praises as it goes through its photosynthesis and produces the oxygen for us. And every rock, with its physics, its laws of physics. I think Einstein said, right, the world didn't have to work in such a mathematical way. But it does. Every part of this creation sings its praise to God in following, in being part of this world and following the role that it is meant to play. And the rock, following its physics, follows its path, its role. It's part of this symphony of creation. Entering into the land of Israel, we needed to have this whole paradigm shift in how we work with this world. It's not breaking the world, it's not breaking nature. It's being in consonance with it. It's working with it. It's not miracles overpowering. It's like we said before by the mitzvot, thou shalt or else. But rather it's us stepping up and playing our role and being part of this incredible, incredible creation. That was the Kal V'chomer that Rashi's talking about. Moshe, at the start of the Midbar, it was break the rock, hit the rock, smash it, and water comes out. It is overwhelming, overpowering. That's what the 40 years were with the well and the man. And it was this breach of nature. Now we're about to enter into a whole new phase, a whole new mindset. Don't hit the rock. Speak to the rock. Work together with it. It's going to do the will of God willingly, without being smacked. It's going to play its role. If you ask it to give water, it will give water. That's the new mode we're entering into the land of Israel. And it's not going to be, if a person did an Aveira, the man fell further. A person sinned, the man fell. It's not how it's going to be. Right? It's not going to be imposed, breaking you. You're going to live your life. There aren't going to be any lightning bolts. But God's going to speak to us. God has spoken to us. And we should just willingly say, of course, like we said before, that's the least I can do. Right? You're important to me, it's important to you, it's important to me. Right? Of course I will do it. What's the question? By Moshe hitting the rock, it showed this mindset was still the earlier mindset. That's not the leader who can now bring us into Israel. We need a whole different shift in our approach. That was the Kal V'chomer that Rashi spoke. If the rock, right, does the will of God when you speak to it, I'm talking to you and I'm giving you everything. Right? So just sign up. Not that you have to, you must, thou shalt, or else, fire, brimstones. No, it's not what it's about. It's not about that at all. It's about our wanting to living in God's world, play our role in this incredible creation, this incredible symphony where everything is doing the Ratzon Hashem, the will of God. Even the inanimate objects are doing the will of God. The plants and the animals, as we work our way up, when we come to mankind with our free will, we are the zenith, we are the crown of the creation, and we have our free will, and of course we take our free will and thus serve Hashem. Yes, Karen.
So also from our perspective, since Hashem spoke to create, even though that's, but by Yomer Hashem, each time in the 6 days, and you say this incredible realm of creation, and everything came forth, so I guess that was a way of, as living in the land, still staying connected that way.
Interesting thought.
Because to speak like you say.
Interesting thought.
But still, then, if that leadership style is no longer appropriate, this hammer it down, then why not just say, okay, it's time for Joshua? And it still seems very harsh to not let this humble man enter the land.
He was given the chance. He was given the chance. Ora.
I have a problem when you say, it's meant to be that if this is important to Hashem, then we go from that point to doing our mitzvot and so forth. Because it's like, a kid that's bully, and one day wakes up on the right side of the bed and he's really nice to everybody. They still know he can hurt them. And God sometimes has a wrath with Israel. He punishes, he's angry.
So our understanding is that everything is a correction. Everything is a redirection. Right? Even a death penalty that the Torah gives, that's a way for kapara, for an atonement, to allow a person to have netzach netzachim, to have eternity. So it's not a punishment, it is a tikkun. It is a correction with whatever we've gone through. With whatever we've gone through. Even though I grant you, we look back and we say, wow, how is that? Right? And that's where we started with Zot Chukat Torah, that there are things that we don't understand. I always love to tell this story of the rabbi who survived the Holocaust. And someone said to him, Rabbi, don't you have questions? And he said, believe me, I have more questions than you can imagine. But I'm afraid that if I ask the questions too forcefully, God's going to say, come here, I'll answer them. So I'm willing, sablanut, I'm willing to wait. Right? And in due time, I'll get the answers. But yeah.
But what in reality is happening, that people, to much extent, are breaking the nature. Rather interfere and make the ecology.
I don't understand what I'm sorry.
Okay, like Hashem wanted people not break the nature, but as I understand,
right,
yes,
but the Ciner.
But in reality, was this going on? People often, and to much extent, are breaking the nature and just
the ecosystem, right?
Make the nature interfere, destroying it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on one hand, we're not being the greatest stewards of the earth, of the planet, right? Right. On another hand, we'll see. We definitely need to be careful with it.
There was a Russian biologist, Michurin, he said, we cannot wait for some donation from nature, or how to translate. We take all the gifts. This is our task. And now we paraphrase and say we cannot expect any donation from the nature after what we have done to it.
Yeah. Well, that's true. You know, we need to be careful stewards of the gift that Hashem gave us. That is true. I agree with that. Okay, my friends, we'll
So
call it
you
over
can say
here.
that how the Chukat is superimposed though on the Rashi, the original Chok.
Yeah, so the Chukat Torah is not meant to be, right? The Chok is not, you have to, right? But it's supposed to be our recognition that we're here, Kathy said before, in God's world, and we want to do.
But that's understandable. That's not something that's beyond us. I mean, there's a logic.
The general concept is understandable. How it applies to this mitzvah, that mitzvah, that's beyond us. That's where the Chok is.
Like,
The
okay.
Chok, that's where that is.
From here we get baseball, we structure out.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Those.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank
Thank you
Rabbi.
so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Will there still be lunch and learn on Thursday?